Did you know? The Simpsons was originally supposed to be an adaptation of the comic strip Life in Hell. In 1987, producer James L. Brooks was looking for someone to make minute-long animations for Fox's upcoming comedy series, The Tracey Ullman Show. After receiving a copy of the comic strip as a gift, Brooks was so impressed that he asked the creator Matt Groening to write shorts for the new show. The initial plan was to use the Life in Hell characters in the new shorts. However, Groening was concerned about losing the copyright to his own characters. He quickly sketched out some new characters before going to a meeting with James L. Brooks. The producer agreed to the new characters and work on The Simpsons soon began. Because he put them together so quickly, Groening named most of the characters after his own family. His parents were called Homer and Margaret, and he has two sisters called Lisa and Maggie. However, the animators offered to color the cartoon at no extra cost, as they felt that the primitive designs of the characters should be counterbalanced with vibrant colors. Color designer Georgie Palou suggested giving the characters yellow skin for animated characters' skin and wanted the show to stand out. One of the series' directors, David Silverman, suggested that yellow was chosen because Bart, Lisa, and Maggie have no hairline. In an interview, he said, "With yellow, you buy it as hair and skin color. If they were flesh-colored, the hair would be, freak show." For the shorts, Matt Groening would draw a rough storyboard for each episode. Groening was surprised when he first saw the shorts animated, as he assumed the animators would tidy up his drawings. Instead, they copied his drawings and animated from there, giving the initial cartoons a cruder look than the later TV show. The shorts quickly became a popular part of The Tracey Ullman Show, and there was word of extending The Simpsons into half-hour specials. Brooks was insistent that the show got a full season of episodes, but the chairman of Fox, Barry Diller, was unsure about commissioning a full series. Back then, the most successful primetime cartoon ever made was The Flintstones, which had ended years ago. Making a new primetime animated series seemed like a risky move, and sticking to specials would be the safer option. However, Brooks eventually convinced the network to back a 13-episode season of The Simpsons. Sam Simon, an experienced writer and producer, was hired to develop the shorts into a full TV show, and a new writing team was assembled. Despite this, the show came close to being cancelled before it even aired. The episode Some Enchanted Evening was originally planned to be the show's season premiere, but when the first animation came back from the Korean studio, it was very low quality. The team were appalled at the prospect of opening the series with bad animation. Many of the scenes had off-model character designs and poor camera angles. According to producer Michael Mendel, it was a complete disaster. It was unairable. Reportedly, the producers considered canceling the show entirely if the next episode wasn't any better. In the end, the show was delayed to give the animators time to correct the episode. Most of the original animation was thrown out entirely, though some of it can still be seen in the final episode. The creators decided to open the season with the Christmas episode, Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire, instead, making Some Enchanted Evening the season finale. The show's theme song was composed by Danny Elfman, who wrote it in just a few days. After being shown the opening title sequence, Elfman decided to compose a retro theme. Elfman wanted it to sound like the Hanna-Barbera cartoon that never was, as he found the opening reminiscent of the Flintstones. During the car ride away from the initial meeting, Elfman began working out the song in his head, and he immediately recorded a demo when he got home. He described it as the easiest thing he's ever done, as the demo was quickly approved. Elfman and a few of his friends also sing the opening notes to the theme song, and he continues to receive performance royalties from it to this day. Some ideas for the show were dropped early on. Originally, Krusty the Clown was going to be Homer's alter ego. The idea was that Homer would be too ashamed to tell his family about his secret second job. The irony would be that while Bart has no respect for Homer, he idolizes Krusty. Matt Groening also wanted to reveal that Marge Simpson had rabbit ears hidden under her hair. At some point, she would let her hair down, revealing them for the first time. The idea was that she would be like the main characters from Life in Hell, who are anthropomorphic rabbits. Though the writers refused to use the idea in the show, some of Marge's character sprites in the Simpsons arcade game show her with rabbit ears under her hair. Some of the show's characters were also inspired by real people. Moe was partly based on the late Louis Red Deutsch, a bartender and former boxer who frequently fell for prank calls. In the 1970s, two men would phone his bar and trick him into calling out fake names like Alcoholic and Ben Dover. If he caught on to the joke, he started swearing at the caller and describing the violent things he would do to them. Over 100 calls were made before the pranksters stopped. Recordings of the calls began to circulate in the 1980s, inspiring Moe and Bart's phone conversations in the show. Mr. Burns' character design was based on former Fox chairman Barry Diller. According to Groening, this was part of an in-joke among the staff. Groening said, "The joke used to be, who's Burns based on? Barry Diller. Who's Smithers based on? Everyone else at Fox." Other characters also got their names from Matt Groening's family. His mother's maiden name was Wiggum, which he gave to the police chief. When Groening named the character, he didn't know that Chief Wiggum would become one of the show's stupidest characters, saying that that aspect has nothing to do with the actual Wiggum family. Originally, Ralph and Chief Wiggum were not relatives. It wasn't until the season 4 episode I Love Lisa that the writers decided to make them father and son. They thought the episode would be funnier if Lisa angered the police chief by dumping Ralph. Surprisingly, Matt Groening pitched a live-action spin-off series about Krusty the Clown in 1994. The series would star Dan Castellaneta and follow Krusty as he moves to LA to host his own talk show. A full pilot script was written for the pitch, including a running gag where Krusty lived in a house on stilts that were constantly being gnawed on by beavers. Somebody pointed out that the gag would be very expensive to put together, and the creators realized that animation would allow them greater freedom than live action. Contract negotiations for the animated version of the spin-off stalled, however, and the project was shelved. Though there are currently no plans to end The Simpsons itself, showrunner Al Jean has revealed the possible way to end the show. Jean said, "I thought it would be cool if in the last episode they're getting ready to go to a Christmas pageant, and they go to the Christmas pageant that opens up the first episode, Simpsons roasting on an open fire, so the entire series is a loop with no end. That would be my way of concluding the run, but nobody's asked me for it yet." Another behind-the-scenes secret is that Maggie's sucking sound effects are performed by Matt Groening himself. The series has also seen its fair share of conflict. The 1995 episode A Star is Burns prominently featured the character Jay Sherman from Fox's other primetime animated show at the time, The Critic. Matt Groening wasn't a fan of this episode, however. Groening saw the episode as a cheap and jarring crossover and withdrew his name from the show's opening credits for the first time ever. Groening told the Los Angeles Times, "The two reasons I'm opposed to this crossover is that I don't want any credit or blame for the critic, and I feel this encroachment of another cartoon character violates the Simpsons universe. The critic has nothing to do with the Simpsons world." Simpsons producer James L. Brooks had a different outlook and wasn't a fan of Groening's behavior. Brooks said, "This has been my worst fear, that the Matt we know privately is going public. He is a gifted, adorable, cuddly ingrate, but his behavior right now is rotten. And it's not pretty when a rich man acts like this." It'd be almost 2 decades before The Simpsons prominently featured characters from another show, aside from small cameos such as Season 9's King of the Hill reference. Speaking of cameos, the series has a recurring cameo with Sideshow Bob. Bob was originally going to be voiced by James Earl Jones, but was ultimately voiced by Kelsey Grammer of Cheers and Frasier fame. Grammer initially based Bob's character on American actor and director Ellis Rabb, but the role evolved into a parody of Grammer himself and his character on the show Frasier. This point was referenced when Bob's family members were introduced to the show. Bob's brother Cecil is voiced by David Hyde Pierce, who plays Frasier's brother Niles in the show. Bob's father is also voiced by the late John Mahoney, who played Frasier's father, Martin Crane. There's a widespread belief among Simpsons fans that Bob was named after Terwilliger Boulevard in Portland, Oregon. This would make sense because many elements from The Simpsons reference Portland, as show creator Matt Groening was born there. However, this isn't the case, and Bob was actually named after Dr. Terwilliger from the 1953 movie The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T. Another interesting detail about Sideshow Bob is that his prisoner number was 24601. This is the same prisoner number as Jean Valjean in Les Mis. Funnily enough, Principal Skinner's prisoner number in Vietnam was also 24601. With tens of thousands of gaming accounts being hacked every month, online security is a real concern. To lower the risk of having your private information stolen by hackers, you should consider using ExpressVPN. VPNs stop phone and internet providers, advertisers, and hackers from tracking your net browsing data at home or over public Wi-Fi. VPNs also mask your IP address, allowing you to access content that's restricted from your region. We at Did You Know Movies have used ExpressVPN to access videos that were restricted by country and found VPNs to be incredibly useful. ExpressVPN is easy to set up, connects with a single click, and never logs your activity. ExpressVPN has 24/7 customer support, is consistently faster than other VPN providers, and was even rated the #1 VPN by TechRadar. As well as having apps for desktop and mobile devices, ExpressVPN also has a router app that protects every device on your network. And if you don't want more programs on your device, ExpressVPN has browser extensions for Firefox and Chrome. ExpressVPN is less than $7 a month and comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can take back your internet privacy today and find out how to get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free by clicking the link in the description or going to expressvpn.com/NB. That's expressvpn.com/NB for 3 months free with a 1-year package. Visit the link in the description to learn more. And thanks again to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. Did you also know that the Pokemon anime was censored many times and saw several changes in the West? For more details, check out our video on the Pokemon anime. And if you want to see something really funny, check out Alfred the Animated Series.